Trading and investing of any kind carries risk. Everything discussed here is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken as financial advice. Because I do not give advice. So, like, subscribe, notification bell, share it, all of the things. That would be appreciated. That little like or subscribe or any of that stuff might not mean that much to you, but it means a lot to me. So, also, in case you haven't heard, we have a room now. So, put a link in the description for that. All right, let's look at what we had today. So, wow, what a move. What a move. So what did we get? First off, we'd moved through this trend line as we talked about, right? We needed some oomph to get through that, and we got through that, but we had this other one sitting here. Kept running into it, getting some resistance there. So we tried to stay above, had this little pull, stayed under it, and we'll zoom in here. It's a higher time frame, right? It's 1 hour, so we tried and tried and tried to get through, and then come FOMC, found that trend line, got a little support down there. I mean, a little support, a lot of support. And then we just went through it. We did. Very beautiful, very beautiful. So, what does that mean? Well, that means that, the other day when I was saying that I thought it was irrational buying, market can remain irrational far longer than any of us can remain solvent, right? So, that's where we are. Do I still think it's irrational? I do. Doesn't mean we can't continue to push. And I say that for several reasons. If you really look at what's going on, you have all of these bigger patterns. Right? They just, let's see. Yeah, so we have these patterns. We had this pattern that worked out today that was, let's see, what did we get here? Got that 1618. So, well, that's one of my favorite places, that's for sure. So what does that pattern look like? Let's draw that. So we'll zoom out a little bit first and just say that, we look at these things that are setting up. I mean, there's a potential to get up here, and there are signals that take us there. And there seem to be a lot more signs at this point pointing up than pointing down. We still have this. Where is that pattern? That's not the one. We still have a potential shark pattern that could take us down. But, I mean, you look at everything else that's around. So we have, let's see. It's going to be here. So we have the shark pattern here. So we'll talk about this real quick. We have the shark pattern here. And it's still within range until we get too far outside of this area. That shark pattern is still in range. Do I think that's going to happen? Not sure. So what else we have is, if this continues to push, so we had I think it was a Gartley that was kind of setting up here, in this little area here. The problem we have now is this is really pushed too far to be considered the upper side of a Gartley. So what that means is that if this pattern is to work as it should be measured, we're looking anywhere from this area upwards of, try that again, upwards of way up here. See how this is looking? So this is kind of what we're looking at here. A lot of these patterns, even the patterns that are trying to take us down or that could take us down, there's a lot of room for them to go up first. Now, does that mean it's going to happen? It never means that. It just means that there are a lot more patterns that want to complete up than right now that we have taking us back down. So, and the pattern today that we worked out, that we finished off, let's measure this thing out here and see what we get. You've got you here. Oh, oh. Okay. So that's a deep crab. Talked about that in the room today. Now I remember. So, yeah, we didn't quite get up to that 1618. But, I mean, we got up there. So, let's measure that. Let's actually do a better measurement on it. So, I mean, just to make. Yeah, not quite. We got pretty close. Yeah, so that deep crab worked out today for sure. All right, so I mean that's kind of where we are. You know, again, I'm not saying that the market's just going to keep ripping, but there are a lot of patterns that want to finish up there really before we can really start looking at patterns to the downside. Now, does not mean that we won't pull back. I mean, that was a lot of movement today. Doesn't mean we won't pull back down, you know, find support here. We were to look over here, try to find some support here in this area. That wouldn't be the worst idea, right? Find some support right here. Wouldn't be too bad, you know? And then to really get up here, you know, we're going to have to gather ourselves. We need to get through this high. If we can get through this high, get up, you know, maybe in here, find some support, find a nice base, and then just, you know, take it and see what happens. So, you know, as much as I don't like it, doesn't mean I'm not going to trade it, right? My bias does not get in the way of my trading, and if it does, it doesn't mean I still won't take the moves, right? I mean, I'm going to trade what I see, and I'm going to trade what it gives me. What I want to happen, doesn't win you anything in this game. So, yeah, that's kind of where it is. You know, we'll see what happens after this move. We'll see if we stay above this trend line. You know, we'll see. You know, because if I recall correctly, this was an FOMC as well, right? That got us above this trend line. So it doesn't mean that we're not going to turn around back down here and, you know, get back under this thing. So not saying that's going to happen, but if you look at this here, it is possible. It is a possibility. So, but as I said, the patterns look like they're going to take us up. Look like they want to complete, you know, up in this range here. And we're talking, I mean, a lot of these patterns, we're talking in the, you know, mid to higher 420s, 430s. And there's even one that takes us up even further than that to like the 450s. So, you know, it's still hard for me to believe that that's going to happen right now. It really is hard for me to believe that. But, you know, I mean, seeing is believing. So what I see is what I'm going to trade. So I could continue to harp on this forever, right? Because this is the idea. I could tell you that we're going to pull every single day, even though I might not believe that's going to happen. But, you know, and it just gets to the idea that a broken clock is right twice a day, you know, and that's why I say just because I think the buying is irrational doesn't mean that it won't continue to push, right? People can remain irrational for a long time. The news can remain irrational for a long time. So we'll see how it goes. We'll trade what we see. So, yeah, hope everybody's doing well. And I will see everybody next time. Don't forget to check the link in the subscription. See ya.